Is veganism really the secret to living longer, feeling healthier, and even saving the planet? Or does it hide silent risks that may only show up years later? This is one of the hottest debates in nutrition today, and the truth is, science doesn't give us a simple yes or no. Instead, it reveals a story full of promise, contradictions, and hidden pitfalls. And before we dive in, let me remind you, if you want more content that cuts through the noise with evidence-based health insights, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, drop a comment, and share this video with someone who might be curious about veganism. That support really helps this community grow and allows us to keep bringing you content of real value. Now let's take a step back. Veganism isn't new. Ancient Indian and Mediterranean philosophies already promoted plant-based diets thousands of years ago, often tied to ethics and spirituality. But what's new is how fast veganism has entered mainstream culture. In the last decade, the number of vegans has exploded in Western countries. In the UK, for example, the vegan population quadrupled between 2014 and 2019. In the US, surveys estimate that about 3 to 4% of adults identify as vegan. And globally, the plant-based food industry is projected to surpass $70 billion in the next decade. The movement isn't just about health. It's also about animal rights, climate change, and identity. Let's start with the positives, because they are impressive. Large-scale studies, like the EPIC Oxford cohort in the UK, show that vegans tend to have lower body mass, healthier cholesterol levels, and significantly reduced risk of heart disease compared to meat eaters. A 2019 meta-analysis published in the Journal of the American Heart Association concluded that plant-based diets are linked to lower mortality from all causes. Fiber-rich vegan diets also improve gut health, fueling beneficial bacteria that lower inflammation. Some research even suggests vegans may have a lower risk of type 2 diabetes, up to 50% lower in some studies. And then there's longevity. Populations like the Seventh-day Adventists in California, many of whom follow vegetarian or vegan diets, live about 7 to 10 years longer than the US average. The environmental argument is just as strong. A 2018 landmark study in Science found that eliminating animal products from your diet can reduce your personal food-related carbon footprint by up to 73%. That's not a minor detail. It means veganism isn't just a diet, it's a lifestyle with global consequences. For many, that makes it feel morally and ecologically superior. But here's where things get complicated. A vegan diet can absolutely work, but it requires careful planning. Without it, silent deficiencies creep in. Let's talk about vitamin B12 first. This nutrient, essential for nerve health and red blood cell production, is virtually absent in plant foods. Studies suggest that more than 50% of unsupplemented vegans eventually develop low or deficient B12 levels. Symptoms often start with fatigue or brain fog, but can escalate to anemia and even irreversible nerve damage. Iron is another challenge. While plant foods contain iron, it's in a form that the body absorbs poorly. Women of reproductive age are especially vulnerable, and research shows that vegans often have lower iron stores compared to meat eaters. Zinc absorption is also lower from plant foods, which matters for immune function and wound healing. Then there are omega-3 fatty acids. While flax and chia seeds provide ALA, the body converts only about 5% into the active forms EPA and DHA. Multiple studies show vegans have lower DHA levels, which could affect long-term brain health and vision. And what about bones? A 2020 study in BMC Medicine tracking over 50,000 participants found that vegans had a 43% higher risk of fractures compared to meat eaters, largely because of lower calcium and vitamin D intake. Protein intake also plays a role. Too little, and bones become weaker over time. Now, who should be extra cautious with veganism, or maybe even avoid it entirely? Pregnant and breastfeeding women have increased needs for B12, iron, iodine, and DHA. Several case reports show babies of vegan mothers developing severe deficiencies if supplements aren't used. Children and adolescents face similar risks since their brains and bodies are still growing. Older adults, too, can struggle. because aging reduces B12 absorption even further. People with pre-existing anemia or osteoporosis may worsen their conditions on a poorly planned vegan diet. And while there are many successful vegan athletes, the reality is that meeting protein and amino acid needs for muscle repair often requires meticulous planning, much more than for someone who includes eggs, fish, or dairy. But here's the nuance. A vegan diet full of whole foods, beans, lentils, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds can be incredibly health-promoting. On the other hand, a vegan diet full of fries, cookies, and ultra-processed meat substitutes can be a nutritional disaster. The label vegan doesn't guarantee health any more than the label organic guarantees balance. Statistics reveal another curious pattern. Most people who try veganism don't stick with it long-term. In fact, surveys in the US suggest that around 84% of people who attempt veganism quit within 3 years, often because of health concerns or social challenges. And here's another fascinating case: India. You might expect that in a country with a high vegetarian population, rates of heart disease would be much lower. But in reality, India has some of the highest rates of cardiovascular disease in the world, proving that simply avoiding meat isn't enough. The quality and balance of the diet matter more than the label. Culturally, veganism has also taken on different meanings. For some, it's an ethical commitment. For others, a climate action. And for many, a health experiment. But science reminds us that context is everything. What works for a young, healthy adult in a Western city with access to fortified foods and supplements may not work for a pregnant mother in a rural area or an older adult already dealing with nutrient deficiencies. So, what can we conclude? Veganism can be a powerful tool for health and sustainability, but it can also become a hidden risk if it's done without awareness and planning. It's neither the perfect diet nor the worst. It's a tool. And like any tool, its success depends on who uses it, how it's applied, and whether it fits your personal needs, lifestyle, and values. Now I'll turn it to you. Do you see veganism as a sustainable and healthy choice for your life, or as a potential long-term risk? Let me know in the comments, and let's open the discussion. And if this video gave you a new perspective, don't forget, like, comment, share it with someone who might find it useful, and of course, subscribe. That's what helps us keep this community growing and allows us to bring you more unfiltered, evidence-based content every week.